Hello. In this video, I invite you to reflect on how digital technology can simultaneously be poison, cure, and scapegoat to academic ethics. I borrow these concepts from Jacques Derrida's viewing of writing as pharmakon, which he also adapted from Plato. Let's begin with the 5 big ideas about technology. Big idea number 1. Technology is both hardware and software. Often, the first thing that comes to mind when we hear the word technology is a device or tool, like the computer or smartphone. But what is technology? According to the Oregon State University, it is art, skill, craft, or the way or manner or means by which a thing is gained. Thus, technology is composed of hardware, devices or tools, as well as software, technique, methodology, the skill needed to use the hardware. We often lose sight of how technology is composed of these and not just one or the other. The ease of getting tasks done with just a click of a button makes us lose sight of some important things. Most likely, you clicked this video because of its title. Most of the words describing the contents are provocative. You may pay attention to buzzwords like digital technology and academic ethics, or your interest may be ignited by the contrasting words remedy, poison, and scapegoat. But instead, let me draw your attention to the most underestimated part of speech, the conjunction. Did you notice that our title uses and, not or? That's deliberate. Over the years, I've been asked if technology is good or bad, like there is only one simple answer. That was my own thinking before I dove deeply into the study of technology. In my mind, and perhaps in yours, you are either for or against technology. And so we go back to the power of the conjunction and. The short answer, though it may not satisfy you, is that technology is both good and bad simultaneously. The advantages and disadvantages are layered on top of each other. Technology may be both remedy and poison. What exactly is technology for? We create technology to fulfill and satisfy our needs, make life easier, simplify our activities, and enable us to control our lives. But how do we experience technology? As our needs are met, other needs surface. Now we can hardly function without the internet. Technology may also add to our burdens, extending our official tasks and work hours, all because we are available 24/7. While technology simplifies our activities, there is added complexity. Now our vacations require us to be connected to our gadgets even when we're outdoors. While we may think technology allows us to control our lives, exactly who is in control? Big idea number 3 exposes how we view technology. It is our hero when things work, but it becomes our convenient scapegoat when things go wrong. It's easy for us to blame technology for bullying and trolling, identity theft, stalking, sexual promiscuity, plagiarism, the new generation's declining communication skills, and many other issues we face. But is technology really to blame? Hold that thought as we move on to the next big idea. Big idea number 4 sits in the realm of technology's design. Technology, at its core, is supposed to make life easier for us. It allows us to do things we can't normally do, like talk at a distance or remember huge chunks of data. But technology has both its affordances, what it allows us to do, and its limitations, what it prevents us to do. In short, there is no such thing as a free lunch. You gain something, but you also lose other things because of the way the technology was made. As Christine Hein, a pioneer of virtual ethnography, warns us, methods are not neutral devices. Our knowledge of the new technologies would be shaped in significant ways by the underlying epistemological commitments on which these methods rely. However, German philosopher Albert Borgmann introduced us to the device paradigm. He says that technology itself is not the source of its perils, but the habits we develop because of technology. For example, social media allows us to connect with people, but it also predisposes us to reveal everything about ourselves, threatening our privacy. And while we may develop close relationships at a distance, we may also become distant to those who are right beside us. Even the UN acknowledges that technologies can help make our world fairer, more peaceful, and more just. But technologies can also threaten privacy, erode security, and fuel inequality. They have implications to human rights and human agency. We have a choice to make in how we harness and manage new technologies. The idea that technology can be both poison and cure is not exclusive to philosophy. It is how we experience technology, though we sometimes fail to recognize its layered effects. The final and most important big idea has to do with the way we use technology. What do we surrender to its affordances? Big idea number 5, we need to understand technology to master it. Technology, more specifically digital technology, makes things easier for us by creating shortcuts for what we need to do. Instead of taking several steps to complete an action, just click a button. The danger lies in not knowing what steps we skip. We surrender our power to technology when we allow it to think and do everything for us. We undergo deskillment, detrimental to our agency. Media theorist Douglas Rushkoff once said, "In the emerging, highly programmed landscape ahead, you will either create the software or you be the software. It's really that simple. Program or be programmed. Choose the former and you gain access to the control panel of civilization. Choose the latter and it could be the last real choice you get to make." So, are we being integrated into technology? Let's not go too deeply into the philosophy of technology. I want to pull this back to my own experience as teacher with a personal anecdote. I have my own version of death by PowerPoint. Let's first unpack what the technology is. What does PowerPoint do? According to Microsoft, the huge corporation that changed the way we do presentations, PowerPoint empowers you to create clean slideshow presentations and intricate decks and gives you powerful presentation maker to tell your story. PowerPoint derives its name from the power to point out your ideas. Its design, however, dictates how you generally create your slides with default settings for the title slide, the bulleted slide, and others. You can add tables, charts, photos, and other materials to your presentation. So how did I harness the power of PowerPoint? This is an example of how I created my PowerPoint slides. Earlier in my teaching practice, I became so dependent on PowerPoint that everything I wanted to teach was contained in my slides. My students and I developed the routine of my slide deck dictating the pace of my class. I would project my slides on the big screen and they would copy everything on their notebooks. Still pen to paper since this was before the smartphone. Though I would be lecturing beside the screen, I was, for the most part, the sideshow. One fine day, I casually mentioned the book that got my students interested. I was so thrilled that I figured the best way to say more about the book was to bring it to class. So, and I say this with great embarrassment, I left my students to my slide deck so I could quickly go home to retrieve the book. I lived only a few minutes from campus. I saw no harm in stepping out of the class for that precious learning material. It took me about a decade to realize that that wasn't my finest hour as a teacher. PowerPoint did not give me power. I surrendered my power to PowerPoint. My slide deck obsolesced me as a teacher. So, while PowerPoint promises to do many things for us, it can also become our presentation and replace us, capture and share our ideas without us, tell our story despite our presence, command the attention of our audience. As you can see, I no longer use PowerPoint the same way. I've taken back my power by being mindful of how I integrate this technology. This is the slide I now use for the same topic. Again, let me ask you, is technology to blame? I wouldn't say PowerPoint robbed me of the ability to teach my students. It was a choice I made when I used its affordances and limitations without being mindful of my role as teacher. I now enjoy expanding PowerPoint's use for my teaching by resisting the limits of its design. But to break the rules, you must first know the rules. We've reached the end of this video. Thanks for watching.